Viewers, tonight we cut through the reams of carefully spun disinformation because the facts matter. And on this show, the hard facts speak for themselves. For the last few weeks, after India temporarily halted kinetic action against Pakistan, the Congress and its ecosystem have been claiming that Prime Minister Modi is subservient to the United States President Trump. That Prime Minister Modi folds in the face of Trump's pressure. But what we heard today from Odisha has the potential of punching a gaping hole in that carefully orchestrated myth. Recalling his conversation from a few days ago, the Prime Minister told his listeners that he declined, politely but firmly, an invitation from the American president for a meeting in Washington, D.C. on his way back from Canada because he had other priorities. Listen in.
साथियों, अभी 2 दिन पहले मैं कनाडा में G7 समिट के लिए वहां था और अमेरिका के राष्ट्रपति ट्रंप ने मुझे फोन किया। उन्होंने कहा कि अब कनाडा तो आए ही हैं, तो वॉशिंगटन होकर के जाइए, साथ में खाना खाएंगे, बातें करेंगे। उन्होंने बड़े आग्रह से निमंत्रण दिया। मैंने अमेरिका के राष्ट्रपति को कहा कि आपका निमंत्रण के लिए धन्यवाद, मुझे तो महाप्रभु की धरती पर जाना बहुत जरूरी है और इसलिए मैंने उनके निमंत्रण को नम्रतापूर्वक मना किया और आपका प्यार, महाप्रभु की भक्ति मुझे इस धरती पर खींच करके ले आई।
Viewers, that the Prime Minister is going on record to say this is a bold statement of defiance. Trump is an egotist who isn't used to and doesn't even like to take no for an answer. And Trump especially doesn't like to see anyone publicly suggesting that he has been snubbed. But Modi has done that. The question is why? This is because Prime Minister Modi is clearly sending a message to the likes of Rahul Gandhi and the Congress ecosystem that supports him. That the Prime Minister, that he himself is his own man. Rahul Gandhi has been implying otherwise. And let me refresh your mind on this. So viewers, this is what Rahul Gandhi said. He said a call came from Trump and Narendra Ji immediately surrendered. Narendra Ji followed Trump saying, Narendra, surrender, by saying, yes, sir. This is what Rahul Gandhi, the LOP, said, viewers, a few days ago. This is now the second instance in 3 days when the Prime Minister has let it be known that he has stood up to Trump. A few days back, in the same conversation which lasted 35 minutes, the Prime Minister said, setting the record straight with Trump, telling him in no uncertain terms, clearly, that America had no role in brokering the ceasefire between India and Pakistan. In fact, he's never called it a ceasefire, he's always called it a temporary cessation of hostilities. And most importantly, that India will never accept mediation either. So now we ask, can the Congress and the ecosystem provide concrete, the operative word here is concrete evidence that Modi bows to Washington or Trump? How can the India bloc repeatedly claim that Trump's wish is Modi's command? Isn't it now clear that India's foreign policy under Prime Minister Modi is confident, sovereign, and rooted in defense of the national interest? Let's open this up, viewers, without further ado. And I want to bring in straight away Nikhil Jain, who's an advocate, who's a sympathizer of the Congress party. We also have Syed Asad Abbas, a political analyst. We have the national spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party, Shahzad Poonawala, and of course Tushar Gupta, journalist. None of these individuals need any introduction. I want to first begin with Nikhil Jain. Mr. Jain, I asked a very simple question, and pay attention to it. After this remark, this second remark, making it very clear that the Prime Minister brooks no pressure from the United States or from Trump, how can the Congress and its ecosystem suggest otherwise? And if it continues to do so, can it provide concrete evidence that Modi bows to Washington or Trump's diktats?
Rahul, if you permit me, I'd like to share a very small anecdote with your viewers. So when I was in class 9, there was this fellow in my class. He had a best friend in the form of Devinder. Once he had a fight with a Parminder. And when he had that fight with Parminder, Devinder came to Parminder's rescue. Devinder beat up my classmate. And you know what my classmate did? He went around the entire class telling everybody that he is the one who beat up Devinder. While the entire school, everybody knew that it was my friend Narendra who was beaten up. That is why everybody for the next 4 years called him Narendra Surrender. Now, if I look at it in retrospect, I think we would have respected him more had he had the courage to tell everybody, yes, I did have a skirmish with Devinder, but I was beaten up, and that's all right. And that's the point that I wanted to make. When the Congress party says that our Prime Minister bows down before President Trump, of course, there cannot be any concrete proof to that, but it is evident for the world to see. The Prime Minister who was giving his bhashan in English at the time of Operation Sindoor in Bihar today very cleverly chooses Hindi when he wants to make a point about Donald Trump. Let's not forget, Donald Trump is a man who needs an Indian accent English to an American accent English translator. Let's not pretend that Donald Trump is going to pay heed to anything that Narendra Modi or anybody in this country says in a political rally in Hindi. The fact is, we expect the Prime Minister to courageously come out and say, no, Donald Trump did not intervene. He does not have the right to do that. We are a strong country. We've always maintained that Kashmir is a bilateral issue, and we will talk to Pakistan on our own terms. Nobody is going to come out and dictate to us. But sadly, President Trump keeps on doing that. It's said that 15 times. The whole world is listening to him. He's inviting Asif Munir, the field marshal, so-called field marshal of Pakistan, and doing a private dinner with him. He's hyphenating India and Pakistan. He's saying Pakistan is a great nation. He's saying Asif Munir is a great guy. So is my dear friend Narendra Modi. But that's not how it should be.
Okay.
We have to look at how the world sees us.
Okay. Now, viewers, I said, can the Congress or those that defend the Congress provide concrete evidence? What did I get? Some sophomoric schoolboy story riddled with rhetoric and an individual who thinks that diplomacy is a skirmish. These are his words, not mine. A skirmish, viewers. They reduce it to a skirmish and goes on to then say, and this is the bizarrest aspect of it, viewers, that diplomacy must also be a zero-sum game. That Trump must take permission from others before he invites anyone else. Viewers, you can see how hollow this argument actually is. If there was evidence, the Congress would have produced it. And then, viewers, Modi would have been cornered. But nonetheless, let me bring in Shahzad Poonawalla to respond. The three basic issues that the Congress is raising, Mr. Poonawalla, are the following. Number one, that why does Trump constantly come out and suggest that he's the broker of the peace and that he still continues, even though I think this time he hasn't, but that's something that will escape the Congress. They might selectively leave that out, but nonetheless, that's one point. Secondly, most importantly, they say, why doesn't Narendra Modi come out and say that I showed, basically, what should I say now? That I basically contradicted Mr. Trump. I told him where to get off the ramp. And thirdly, most importantly, why hasn't the Prime Minister come out clearly and said, look, I got beat up, but I tried my best? I'm sorry, these are the arguments and these are the questions that they're asking.
Rahul, let's start with your last question first. At the time of surgical strike, DGMO announced it. Did they believe it? At the time of Balakot airstrike, the armed forces announced it. Did they believe it? At the time of Operation Sindoor, there is video evidence that the 9 terrorist camps and 11 plus bases, 20 places have been hit. Have they believed it? They have called it should put surrender. They have called it failure, all kinds of things. Now, since he has spoken about school boy example, let me go a little earlier, because it was also Rahul's birthday yesterday. Let me go to kindergarten ages and let me talk about a son of an Italian. No, I'm not talking about the one you're thinking. I'm talking about Pinocchio. Pinocchio, the son of an Italian, whenever Pinocchio lied, and I'm sure Rahul must have read it in his kindergarten days, his nose became longer. Last week has been the longest nose week for Congress party because they have become the political Pinocchio. G7 में invite नहीं आया था. US press release, digital fraud done by Jairam Ramesh, when he shows a press release which was not released by United States government. Then they lied on caste census. Then they lied on Saudi Arabia cancelling work visas. They had lied on Rafale. Alok Sharma, Congress spokesperson, showed a fake tweet of ANI. Then they lied about HAL, LIC, SBI. They lied about Savarkar. They lied about Pegasus. They lied about Hindenburg. They lied about 2611 being done by Hindutva forces. They have lied about everything. This is the political Pinocchio nature of Congress party. But having said that, now let me come to the other point. The point is that when the DGMO, MEA, had said that, look, there was no mediation and intervention, they should have bought it then. But what did they say? They said कि एक बार मोदी बोल तो दे. मोदी ने बोला ही नहीं, मोदी ने जाकर ट्रंप को सीधा बोला कि boss, there is no scope for mediation, that Operation Sindoor is still on, गोली का जवाब गोले से मिलेगा, and how Pakistani DGMO has called us and they have begged for mercy because now act of terror is treated as act of war, not as proxy war. And forget Modi, they did not even believe Salman, Manish and Shashi Tharoor, who are their SMS. So now the two events have taken place in the last 24-48 hours. One, because they believe LOP means leader of Pakistani propaganda. One of the Pakistani ministers, the deputy prime minister, has made a very big admission. After Shahbaz Sharif, he has also admitted that we got badly hit, which means Operation Sindoor was very, very successful. Two, he has said that we not only spoke to the Americans, we begged to the Saudis. Now, logically, Rahul, if the Americans were having so much leverage on us and they were managing the ceasefire, why would these people speak to the Saudis? And then at the level of Saudis also, the consistent reply of India was that, look, if Pakistan has something to convey, they will convey through the direct channel, which eventually happened that their DGMO begged to us. Now I ask one more point. Today, Prime Minister Modi has clarified and said categorically that for us, the only Mahashakti, the only superpower is Mahaprabhu. And look at the attitude of the two nations. One nation is going begging and becoming a B team of the Americans. Okay. The other nation is standing steadfast and saying, I have commitments in Odisha, I have commitments in Croatia, I will do what serves my national interest. Which country seems to be under leverage? And lastly, because we were speaking about Devinder and Parminder and Jitinder, there is surrender in Congress's every calendar. 1971, Rahul, doesn't your heart bleed that we had 93,000 prisoners of war? Why didn't we take away POK and why didn't we take the Kartarpur Sahib? It has been answered by the United States State Department that the pressure was put by the United States on Indira Gandhi, Iron Lady. Then in 1974, which you have showed how we were offering nuclear technology. Then in 1985, Ronald Reagan directs Rajiv Gandhi what to do in terms of Pakistan. In 1968, Rahul, surrender. Look at what surrendered we did. 828 square kilometers was handed over to Pakistan after winning 65 war. And in 94, Rahul, indisputable fact that Tushar will testify, did we have our nuclear test in 94-95? Under whose pressure did we surrender? Right now, Nikhil is surrendering to fake news where they are trying to sell comb to a bald man.
Okay. That's
no personal intent.
No, I know. No pun intended, obviously. But that one understands. Now, I just want to ask you, and I want also Tushar Gupta to pay attention to this because Nikhil Jain, I want to ask you this question. When was the India-Pakistan relationship dehyphenated?
Rahul, nobody was at least putting us in the same boat for many, many decades, saying that Pakistan is a great country and India is a great country as well. And also, I have a very simple question for my friend.
One second. Just stop there. Just stop there. One second. No one was putting us in the same category. Viewers, let me tell you, there was an attack on Indian soil, the gravest, most devastating, 26/11. We all remember this, viewers. Within a few years of that, guess what? Pakistan Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif is invited by President Barack Obama to discuss the sales of drones to Pakistan. Reaper Predator drones, viewers. Some of them might have even been used against India during Operation Sindoor. This was the definition of dehyphenation, viewers, that you were fed by an ecosystem that cheered the leader. Viewers, let me also tell you what the statement said, the readout of the president's meeting with Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif. He says, you see, no one called Pakistan a great nation. This is what was said, viewers. Pakistan delivers progress for the Pakistani people and reinforces Pakistan's democracy and civil society. Viewers, the Obama and Nawaz Sharif were committed to a broad, sustainable and enduring partnership. This is how effective Congress's foreign policy was after, viewers, the gravest attack on Indian soil. Viewers, forget about America. Then Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh, and correct me if I'm wrong, Tushar Gupta, correct me if I'm wrong, met with a Pakistani Prime Minister who was quite transitory, if you remember.
Yes.
On Sharm el-Sheikh, which is in Egypt, which is a resort, if you please, viewers. Look at the symbolism. They met in resorts.
Egypt.
Resort diplomacy, viewers. I mean, how you want to trivialize the sacrifices of Indian Jawans, you go and meet at a resort, viewers. Not even in an official ground. No, a resort, town. And then what do? Can you tell us, Mr. Gupta, what happened? What happened in Sharm el-Sheikh? When you talk about hyphenation, who hyphenated whom and on what grounds?
Good evening, Rahul. Look, the problem is that the Congress today, led by the PJS Trinity, is in complete denial. Pawan Khera goes to a news show and says that Congress achieved success in its response to 26/11. But he doesn't answer, then why was the Pune bomb blast happening? Why was bomb blast in Delhi and Mumbai? He doesn't answer what happened in 2010 and 2011. In 2011, merely a year and a half after the Mumbai attacks, or year and a half after the Mumbai attack, Pakistan was hosted, the entire leadership was hosted in Mohali on the eve of the semi-final of the World Cup by the same Manmohan Singh government. Did the terrorism stop? Absolutely not. Now, the problem, Rahul, is this entire narrative of Narendra surrender. This is not the Congress narrative. I even haven't found 10 MPs of the Congress that are endorsing this narrative. Even Priyanka Gandhi Vadra isn't endorsing this narrative from her brother, or from Supriya Shrinet, or Jairam Ramesh, or Pawan Khera. None of them are endorsing this. Forget what Manish Tiwari, Shashi Tharoor, or Salman Khurshid are doing. Nikhil Jain today cannot find me 10 MPs of the Congress who will say, yes, we agree that the Prime Minister surrendered before Donald Trump. Point number 3, and very important point. Tell me the last Prime Minister of India who rejected an invite from the American president. If we were to even believe that the Indian leadership was under some sort of pressure from the Americans, we would be obligated to accept their invite. We were not accepting that invite. The Prime Minister saw through that charade. Asim Munir was in Washington. The Prime Minister knew that Donald Trump was seeking another photo op. And finally, Nikhil Jain gave an analogy of Parminder, Devender and Narendra from his school days, in which he stated that Narendra was beaten up by Parminder. Let's be very clear about our analogies here. Pakistan did not beat us in Operation Sindoor. Pakistan did not beat us in Operation Sindoor. Point, Nikhil. I did not interrupt you. I did not interrupt you. I did not interrupt you. Please behave. I did not interrupt you. Look, wrong analogies. Nikhil, if you are so sure of your opinion, own up now. Why are you hiding behind analogies? Speak up. Why are you hiding behind analogies?
I'm just telling
You're
a story
hiding behind
from my
analogies because you do not
No,
have
let's
any
get back to the.
evidence.
No, hang on. Listen, this puerile analogy.
Yes.
We should just, cast it away. Let's get back to the
Absolutely,
substantive.
yes.
And I have a substantive point to make. You see what happened at Sharm el-Sheikh, viewers, is that Pakistan was equated with India on a very important issue, on an axis, which was the sponsorship of terror. So Dr. Manmohan Singh, the great, came out and basically acceded to the fact that India was also, and Pakistan was also, a victim of terror. And you know what that did, viewers? That set the foundation. And when I talked about President Obama meeting with Prime Minister Sharif, in that statement, you know what was noted, viewers? And this is shocking. And I'll quote this statement. President Obama and Prime Minister Sharif noted that both the United States and Pakistan are threatened by terrorist groups. And that Pakistani people have suffered greatly. Viewers, what bigger slap in India's face than this? Can you believe it, viewers? This is the statement. President Obama and Prime Minister Sharif noted that both the United States and Pakistan are threatened by terrorist groups and that the Pakistani people had suffered greatly. This, viewers, is called hyphenation. And let me tell you, viewers, it's important. And I want to ask Mr. Abbas, today you suggest that Prime Minister Modi surrenders to the Pakistanis. Let me ask you, do you know a gentleman called Mr. Navjot Sidhu? Do you know he was a Congress leader?
Still is.
And still is, sorry. Do you know he went with a former chief minister called Captain Amrinder Singh?
Who's now in the BJP.
Yes, because you know why? He was so ashamed of Sidhu. You know what Sidhu did, viewers? He hugged General Bajwa.
What he did, Rahul.
Yes, you know. He hugged General Bajwa, viewers, and he called Imran a Greek god. Imran, who was in bed and now is rotting in jail, in bed, viewers, with whom? With the Islamist fundamentalist groups and the ISI. He was their prop. Now, viewers, which party in this country, Mr. Abbas, is compromising India's sovereignty? You tell me. When you go and meet Ilhan Omar and take a photograph in the Holy of Holies, the American capital, then who is, and I'm talking about Rahul Gandhi, just a year back.
I will answer that.
Who is compromising India's sovereignty and hyphenating India with Pakistan? A lady who advocates for the right to self-determination for Kashmiri citizens, viewers. Now, Mr. Abbas, respond.
The fact of the matter we need to understand.
These are all
here,
facts.
and in
You
fact,
haven't brought
there
a fact.
is
So
a
I'm
fact.
saying, no, don't say fact on the matter.
There is
You
a
show me a
fact.
fact. You show
I
me
will
a
tell
fact
you. I will
that
show you a
provide the
fact.
concrete evidence that Modi bows to Washington or Trump. I've given you facts of the Congress bowing
I
to
will give you a
anti-India
fact.
elements. I'm giving you facts. Give me a fact.
You know, today, with great pride and honor, Rahul Sahab, let me tell you that Donald Trump, compared to Adanya Pradhan Mantri Modi ji of my beautiful country of India, Modi ji has a lot more credibility than a Donald Trump. A Donald Trump is a liar who can lie through its teeth. Whether his statement on Emmanuel Macron, trying to gain attention, or his brickbats with Elon Musk, or even recently about him dominating the Iran-Israel war.
And lying
fact
on the
when it
face
comes
of the
to-
South African president about a genocide that was happening against whites. He showed photographs. Those photographs turned out to be from another country. He's a liar. So then I'm asking you, if you concede this point, Mr. Abbas,
I will
do you think
answer
the
that.
Congress is right to believe a liar? They keep quoting a liar called Trump, not once, not twice, not thrice, not 4 times, not 5 times, 6 times, 7 times, 8 times, 9 times, 11 times, 12, 13 times.
I will
Why
answer
did
that.
Donald
I will
Trump
answer that.
become
There
the
is
gospel
no
of truth?
there are no two ways about it. There is no bigger liar than a Donald Trump. I think even taking his invitation, unofficial invitation to come to US when a Pradhan Mantri Modi ji has a set itinerary. Why would he change for Donald Trump, a man who could be just candid and just say, come? That does not make absolute sense. So therefore, do not take Donald Trump too seriously. I'm sure this happened, but let us not take him seriously. But the fact of the matter, I would have greater pride and honor with with Pradhan Mantri Modi ji is when he tweeted saying that he's the reason why India-Pakistan has stopped the war. He's the reason for the ceasefire. I would say my Pradhan Mantri Modi ji is a true Vishwa Guru in its every sense when he retweeted us same front and said, Donald Trump or Donald Trump, this is a lie. which Modi ji did not do. Why couldn't Modi ji call out the lie?
Okay.
Can Poonawala ji
Yeah,
answer
quick
that?
response. Shahzad Poonawala wants to respond. I also want to bring to your
This
attention.
is a weird situation, and now Syed Abbas, I have heard you out completely. I have heard you out completely. Syed Abbas ji, maybe you should also see that it was not just Prime Minister Modi, but let me just make a point. Trump, by the way, also said in the same tweet that it's a 1,000-year war between India and Pakistan. So are you buying entire statement of Trump or just this part you like to selectively quote? The same Trump, by the way, please, sir, I do not interrupt you. Sir, I do not interrupt you. Please, you have to be patient. By the way, the calling out you are saying on tweet, Prime Minister has done it to his face because memory is short. In 2019, Donald Trump told Prime Minister, I can intervene in Jammu Kashmir. And at that time, Prime Minister said, no, thank you. And after that, we went and we abrogated Article 370. He has done it on the face. But people like you have short
then he
memory.
went to
Sir,
campaign for-
I did not interrupt you. Nikhil, please do not do this. Don't make it difficult. Now, I will tell you that who has hyphenated not India, Pakistan, but Pakistan and Congress. Didn't Manishankar Iyer go with a begging bowl that Modi ko hatao? Who went to Pakistan? Manishankar Iyer. Secondly,
That's a lie.
B.K. Hari Prasad said that Pakistan is not enemy for
went-
us, it is enemy for BJP. This is B.K. Hari Prasad, currently a General Secretary. Thirdly, 370 dossier, Rahul Gandhi was printed on the first page of that dossier of Pakistan. Surgical strike denied and same narrative taken as Pakistan by Rahul Gandhi. Then on 26/11 you said Hindu terror and you gave Pakistan a clean sheet. Who is hyphenating Congress and Pakistan? And finally, Rahul, the biggest proof. Just now, just 10 seconds more, just let me put out a very big proof. I will show you what is actual surrender. I am quoting from a letter which was supposed to be secret from Ronald Reagan to Rajiv Gandhi, which has now been declassified. Point 1, secret entire text. Point 2, please forward the following message to Prime Minister in Rajiv Gandhi before he meets Zia, scheduled on 7th December. Then, the point is, I have you know my apprehensions regarding nuclear competition in the subcontinent. Your discussion with President Zia next week in Delhi can help set the agenda for peace. Sure. I understand that nuclear issues will figure prominently in your talks. You will continue to support regional efforts at achieving nuclear peace in the subcontinent. Ronald Reagan to Rajiv Gandhi. And Rajiv Gandhi then went ahead and did this meeting.
And I just want
Now, Mr. Mr. Nikhil Jain, please answer this.
Now I want Mr. Jain to respond. I have listed factually how the Congress itself, when it was in power, hyphenated India with Pakistan, gave America the leverage to even call Pakistan a victim of terror. Sir, with facts, show me one fact that hyphenates India with Pakistan. One fact, one hard fact
Let me respond.
that Mr. Modi has contributed to this in any which way.
Let me respond to each of the points point by point. 26/11, what did Obama say right after the 26/11 attacks? That India has a right to self-defense. Do we see a similar statement from the US establishment? We don't. What happened after 26/11? Right after, not years after, but
What are you saying?
In the months that followed.
Within hours, Mr. Trump said, how can I help you in seeking justice? Did you not read?
No.
What are you talking
that's not
about?
What Trump said.
Oh,
That's
no, you
not
don't
what Trump
know.
said.
You don't know.
Please play the-
Mr.
okay,
Trump
please play the
called the
statement.
Prime Minister, one of the first people on earth to call the Prime Minister.
People from the
What are you
BJP may be
saying?
saying things.
What are you saying, sir? Get your facts right,
Did he
Mr.
say
Gupta.
something publicly? Did
Mr.
he say
Jain.
something publicly? All right, let me respond. If you feel that I'm factually inaccurate, Shehzad will take that on. Let me respond in terms of what I wanted to respond on. He talks about 93,000 prisoners of war, 1971 war. He's forgetting the fact that we broke Pakistan into two despite a stern warning or a threat from the US that we are sending the 7th Fleet. Indira Gandhi did not care about it, broke Pakistan into two, had a Bangladesh formed, a Bangladesh with which we had stellar relations until Modi ji
I have
stepped
a
into the
history
picture.
lesson.
1974,
I have a
Indira
history.
Gandhi.
Why
never
didn't we
said
get
that
back
if you want to
POK?
share nuclear
One
technology.
second.
Why didn't we get back
One
POK?
second.
All right,
Nikhil
same
Jain on this
question.
point, before you move forward. Nikhil Jain on this point. Sir, on this point. Nikhil Jain on this point. Babu Jagjeevan Ram and military leaders advised Indira Gandhi that now is the time to take POK and Kartarpur Sahib. Why did Indira Gandhi listen to Babu Jagjeevan Ram and the military leaders?
Very well.
And secondly, sir, before you go into very good mode, Rajiv Gandhi was directed by Ronald Reagan. And by the way, is Supriya Sule trustworthy?
Ronald Reagan
Yes.
Supriya Sule says that the Indian armed forces ensured that there is a cessation of this kind of terrorism from Pakistan.
No, let
and
me
from
pull it out. Let me pull out that. 1 second. I just want to put it on record, viewers.
Single question.
Yeah. Okay.
Question for
Yeah,
Shehzad.
okay, yeah.
The Pakistan DGMO called us begging, please war rukwa do, please stop kar do.
Yes.
Abhi POK क्यों नहीं मांग लिया उनसे? पीओके छोड़ो, मसूद अजहर ही मांग
Okay,
लेते।
this is it now, viewers. Let me, on that point, fact check coming. Mr. Jain's way. Clear fact check. Supriya Sule, viewers, on 10th May at 8:18, 18 minutes past 8 o'clock. Remember, the cessation was to hit at 5:30 in the evening. So about 3 hours later says, congratulations to the Indian Army's triumph in securing a ceasefire. Your fearless bravery, resolute defense, and objective of reaching peace and stability deserves a salute from every Indian. Jai Hind. So today when Rahul Gandhi goes the other way, viewers, and calls Modi, surrender Modi, for listening to his own army, DGMO, who are you insulting? You are insulting the armed forces. Mr. Gupta, final word to you before I move on.
You know, since we are talking about American leadership being the gospel of truth for the Congress, in December 1982, the same US leadership actually stated that Indira Gandhi had vetoed a military attack on Pakistan's nuclear infrastructure. This was the US intelligence. The Indian government denied it. Since Nikhil Jain brought up Barack Obama also wrote in his book that Rahul Gandhi is like a kindergarten kid who wants to impress everyone but lacks the aptitude to master the subject. So if you're going to believe the American presidents, please believe this also. And number three, Nikhil Jain is talking
Why was
about
Modi
all
campaigning for
sorts of fictional scenarios where something was said, something was not said. Why is the Congress missing the forest for their trees? We have hit Pakistan across the length and breadth of his country, across its entire military infrastructure, breached its air defenses. Why is the Congress unwilling to acknowledge this? That is my question since day
The
one.
Congress
Well,
has
viewers,
very well acknowledged it. No.
you see, you
Rahul,
heard factual
you'll have
response.
to give me 20 seconds to complete my earlier retort. Shehzad also pointed out that in 1974, nuclear technology was willing to be given away. That was not the case. 2611, we did
That was not
extradite
the
David
case.
Headley.
It's
We
in
investigated
Parliament.
him. No.
It's
No,
a
I
parliament
will show the
record,
record.
sir. Please read. Please, sir, come with some
And
research.
again, last
Look,
point on
this
on
show.
this,
No,
I
it's
have
done.
come
It's
with
done.
research
It's done.
on
I
it.
have to wrap out. I have to wrap out. I just
Rahul,
want to make
I
it very
come with-
clear, viewers. I gave you factual information of how the Congress government hyphenated India with Pakistan. I would like somebody to challenge me on facts and give me 2 facts on how Modi's government hyphenated India with Pakistan. 2 facts, viewers. Facts. Facts. Not rhetoric. Facts.